So we have a Lions team out to face the AUNZ Invitational side, which is absolutely star-studded. Players who are absolutely amazing but can't get into New Zealand or Australia even. And this is a serious team. If they come together quickly, it could well be the best team the Lions face on tour. On paper it is, but of course they are a scratch team. Maybe on paper it's better than the Lions team. Let me know what you think. So it could be an absolute stormer. And players definitely playing for spots in those test matches from the Lions. Some of the players are not going to feature in that first test. I think we know that, but anything can happen with injuries if the Lions go poorly in the first test, so still plenty to play for. Some players have a great chance of being in that 23, and in some ways it's kind of filling in a little bit because they're kind of running out of players at this point as well. Some of the balance isn't quite there, but you've got to get guys on the pitch, of course. And the other big news is Jamie Osborne has been called up for Blair Kinghorn, who's a bit iffy at the moment. Hopefully he'll pull through. And really it's quite strange because he actually is a kind of like-for-like replacement for Elliot Daly, as in a guy who can play in the centres and fullback. But no, there we go. We had Owen Farrell come in. He's on the bench. Marcus Smith there looks like he's going to be covering 15 again, because surely Owen Farrell's going to go to 10. So that's an interesting one. This is the sort of team that Jamie Osborne would fit in really nicely, because you need someone who can cover centre and 15, and he'd do it fine. And it looks like they're going to have Ben Earl covering centre from the looks of it to me. Let me know if anyone else could do it, but I don't think so. Just quickly a word on that AUNZ side. I mean, look at this lineup. It's unbelievable. Salakai Lotu, I think, is fantastic, the Australian international. And then Frizzell, Samu, Sototo, all not needed at the moment, or ineligible, and they are absolute top quality players. In the centres, Havili's not needed by New Zealand. He's a great all-rounder. The power of Lamapi. Sean Stevenson has been sniffing around that all-black squad for a while, but not needed, and he is absolutely seriously impressive. Amazing attacker. This is a good side that could absolutely win unless the Lions are right on their game. Pierre Schoeman, still plenty to play for. I think it's a bench spot for him to play for, but he could do it with a big performance. Cowan Dickey the same. Stewart the same, could even get a start. I think it's between him and Furlong, but plenty saying every time we've seen Beelum, he's looked impressive as well. He's on the bench. Captaining the side is Tyg Byrne, who, yes, has had a poor tour by his standards, but a massive game here. Could absolutely bring him back into it, potentially for a bench spot in that game in the first test. A guy who can cover second row and back row, super useful. Probably fighting it out with Chesham at the moment there. Then back row, we see another 3-7s back row, but Henry Pollock is definitely the jack of all trades. They're seeing him as that versatile player, playing 6 now. Normally 7 and 8 are his positions, now playing 6. Whatever happens on this tour, he's going to get a lot out of it. So much experience. It's crazy fast. It's really attacking. Ben Earl is essentially a runner. He can do the other stuff, but maybe not as well as others. Jack Morgan is the classic 7, so he's playing in his proper position, if you like. But goodness me, it's attacking. It's exciting. Josh van der Fleer, another 7 on the bench. So, it's potentially the way that they selected the squad, but no, not balanced, but super exciting. In the backs, Ben White gets his start, and yes, he's not going to feature in that first test, I'm sure, but again, anything can happen. A slight injury, and he is in there anyway. Finn Smith does have a chance of being on the bench. He's not going to start in front of Finn Russell, but a really big game from Finn Smith, and he could be in that 23, and he probably needs a big game to say, I am the man, I'm going to run this show, really grab the game by the scruff of the neck. We have a great fight between the Scottish centres and the Irish centres. Maybe because of recency, Aki and Ringrose are slightly ahead. Ringrose had a storming game in the last one against the Brumbies, but a massive game here. Maybe they're going to start, and of course Finn Russell's going to start, so maybe it makes sense to have the 3 Scottish guys together. Hansen, I think, is on the edge of a test team, and if he has a big game, he's in. I don't think we're going to see Van der Merwe, even if he scores a bucket of tries, because we know he can do that. It's the defensive stuff that I think is the worry there. And we need Hugo Keenan to have a storming game. He's had a bit of injury, he's had a bit of illness, and we've lost Blair Kinghorn for a while at least. We've got one remaining specialist 15 who we need to have a great game, and he's got the pedigree in the locker, so I think he probably will, but we need him to come through fit as well. So will he stay on for the whole game, or will we see Marcus Smith coming on and covering him when it looks like he's had enough of a run out? I think that's what's going to happen. Then on the bench, Scott Cummings will probably be a bit annoyed he didn't get the start because he had a storming game. I think it was against New South Wales Waratahs, and he'd like a start to reinforce that, but maybe coming off the bench isn't going to be enough to get him in a test team, so he'll be a bit annoyed. We've seen plenty of Van der Fleer. Mitchell backing up again. Goodness me, he's played a lot of minutes. And I don't think they would have wanted to do Smith and Farrell together because, I think they'd probably want to get a few minutes in Smith at 10. But with Farrell there, you've got to give it to him because that's the only real position I think he's going to play on this tour. And ideally, Osborne would have slotted that in. But that's kind of how they've selected it, calling up Farrell instead of someone like Osborne first anyway. So it's not overly balanced, but it's very exciting. They've got loads to play for. And the AUNZ team is absolutely star-studded. And if you want to make a prediction at that Test 15 now, the starting 15, you can of course go for that £1,000 prize by my starting lineup. On registration, please use the code RugbyAnalyst to say I sent you. We've already had a winner from the channel who won £200 on one of the non-test games. If you think you can guess that test team, you either win outright or you go in with a small draw with the other correct answers to win £1,000. That would be awesome if someone got the 1k. Let me know how you go. So yeah, let me know what you think of that selection, the call-up of Jamie Osborne. Is this going to be the toughest game on tour? Pop all those comments below. Do subscribe, do like the video, it really helps, and I'll catch you next time.